So it's another morning on the way to work again. This time I wanted to try and talk about something which is to do with what I do for a job. A lot of people don't realise what my background is. If you go back, about 4 or 5 years ago, in the New York area, there was a job that I was doing at a company called Clear Channel, and I was the iOS programmer for something that was called iHeartRadio. And this, at the time was about 4 million users, and those 4 million users, they were pretty happy, but it was a fun job. So once that was over, a lot more work back in Canada, working with the banks and stuff, and that's where a lot of my banking background comes from. So anyway, fast forward to now, what we've got is a system called Telspec, and we're doing food data analysis, and just basically making sure that things are healthy, what they say they are, looking for contaminants, trying to measure and quantify what's in the food. And so these days I'm doing the iOS programming for that. So the first app that was done was the Telspec app, and this is an iOS app that's it's in the App Store but only available at the moment to the beta testers. So various people use that, and what that allows you to do is the sort of macronutrients and fats, proteins, carbs. You can scan for certain contaminants, hazelnut, eggs, dairy, that type of stuff. And there's also a data collection part of that, which is used in various studies and scientific experiments that are going on around the world. Different people are using it for different things. So that was the first thing. Hot on the heels of that was the Fruit QC, which is now being run in Europe, mainly looking at fruit quality control, bricks, fibre, sugar, being able to determine the firmness of fruit without destroying it, and also being able to work out if fruit needs to leave the distribution chain and go to, say for instance, a food bank or something like that, where it can be utilised at its full potential, as opposed to the current method, which is basically force it through the distribution chain, and then once it gets to the retail end of the chain, what normally happens is it gets marked down and ultimately thrown in a dumpster, which is no help to anybody. If you can get it to a food bank several days beforehand, you can probably write it off at the full value as well. So that was the next part, and then behind that there's the melamine app. So that works on the basis, if you remember going back about 5 years ago in China, there was a lot of babies getting sick and dying because there was melamine in the baby food. So what we ended up doing was coming up with a way to detect that in the baby food, and that is going through right now. The translations into the Chinese language for all the user interfaces being done. As I'm recording this one right now, Barack Obama is on stage in Milan at the Seeds and Chips event, and he's talking about food and what it is that he's doing next. We've got our team are up, I believe, tomorrow on the same stage, so that's pretty fun. So next up, I guess, is the banking news. You may remember in a previous segment I'd had a little bit of luck with Scotiabank finally listening to what they've been told for probably the past year, that things were very, very unsafe, and they decided to basically redo their app, to put some proper obfuscation in place and try and make it a bit more secure. So anyway, about a week behind that, CIBC ended up pulling one of their apps. So the payment app that they have right now, they basically are saying that because of Apple Pay and the Samsung Pay systems, that there's no need to have their own. What I think has really happened behind the scenes is that the Endstream problem has got out of hand. So for those who are not in Canada, basically you've got 3 major telcos, and what they did was they got together to create something called Endstream, which basically ties the card providers back to the banks, and this one Endstream system, basically it created a common point of failure. So after the problems that Scotiabank had last year, we now got to the point where both Scotiabank and CIBC are running the same system, and whilst Scotiabank has been told there's a problem, and we don't know if they are actually going to fix it or not, CIBC does appear to have pulled their app. Just got to wait for these lights to go.